As Director of Infrastructure Services, I felt it was a really good idea to actually put some words to staff around how we've got on during 2016. It's been a challenging year. It started with Storm Frank back in January, and that was a real challenge for the council and for the communities it affected. But there was a tremendous response from infrastructure services. I think at one time we had 190 staff out on the ground dealing with that pressure. So that kicked the year off, and I just felt as we run towards the end of 2016, it'd be useful to just catch up on where we are, around some of the challenges, and around what I think 2017 and onwards is going to put before us. First thing to touch on is the budget. We've always been a strong council, well managed and therefore financially astute, but some of the pressures are just that little bit more serious as we run into the end of this year and into 2017. Councillors have been working to try and come up with a number of efficiencies because there is a budget gap that we need to tackle. Infrastructure Services has done its part, and for example in roads we now do more surface dressing and less, as I call it, fundamental maintenance, bearing in mind I'm not a roads engineer, but around just being able to do things in a different way that still will last well but will save us some money. In other services as well, there's always that pressure to just try and look at things and be that bit more efficient. We have a budget gap as a council that is into the millions, and you will have seen that in some of the newspaper headlines as we went through full council back at the end of November. So there is a challenge. The Scottish Government are looking to provide their settlement during the end of December, and from that the council will work out just what the gap would be into 17 and 18. The good news is it's a one-year settlement, which means we just need to work out our financial position for that 1 year. 18, 19 and 19, 20 are years to think about into the future. But hey, that is only 12, 14 months away. So from my perspective, it will be about us balancing the budget for next year and ensuring that we contribute where there's a corporate need to do so, but also beginning to think about how we could change things in relation to 18, 19, 19, 20. And I'll come back to that. So budget is a really important issue for us to look at. The performance this year, as I say, starting with Storm Frank, has been once again tremendous. As a service, we are commended in all that we do. At the full council in September, there was a very positive response from members in relation to infrastructure services. Not a single word was there as a criticism of what we do. Are we perfect? I'd like to think so, but no, it doesn't quite work like that. But if you think about the varied services we provide, staffing of 1,900 or so, out there every day tackling the things that come our way. Winter maintenance, topical at the moment. Fortunately, we're not having too severe a winter, although the forecasts still talk about -28. I think that's more about media rather than reality. But again, winter maintenance out all hours of day and night, ensuring that the roads are clear and can be used. Planning, numbers have dropped in the last year. That's part of the economic downturn, but there's still some 3,000 plus planning applications that are administered along with building warrants through building standards, and that has a value around about £600 million worth of development that is approved every year in Aberdeenshire. Again, if you look at herds of cattle that we've had to manage on behalf of owners who are not doing what they should be doing, inspecting premises, supporting businesses, food hygiene, trading standards, economic development, our 12,000 council homes, ensuring that the tenants are in good, warm and appropriate condition and so on. That's all been part of the picture that we've taken through in the last 12 months. So very strong, much appreciated by me and the most of the community and of course our councillors. So a real well done in respect to what's gone on. As I say, are we perfect? The answer would be no. There have been some technical challenges around broadband, around our being able to utilise certain bits of equipment when it comes to housing repairs, making sure that we're consulting in the right way and maximising the digital opportunity. Those have been challenges. And so, there are still things that we need to do. Indeed, I think the digital aspect is potentially something that will really come forward as a solution as we move into future years. So last year wasn't without a few headaches, if you like, but overall, very, very strong performance. What I think is critical is that we look at the challenges, and they will be very much financial, workplace balance, maintaining the energy, maintaining a bit of a smile and a positive attitude when there is all this change going on around us. So that's what I think is really important as we look forward as infrastructure services, as part of the Aberdeenshire jigsaw. So in looking at those challenges ahead, I think it's really important that we, as I use that phrase, manage our own destiny. So that's where we proactively look at things that we feel we can do to do our jobs more quickly, more efficiently, and yes, in a way that allows us to save some money. And I think that's critical. I'd rather have us in a position of doing that rather than somebody comes to me and says, Director, within your services, can you please take X% off the budget or a particular amount? So there's a piece of work that I've brokered through the area manager, William Munro, which is looking at transformation, innovation, the radical, different ways of doing things, and your input to that would be much appreciated. So feeding your ideas of the way that we could do things better, more efficiently through your supervisors, through your managers, back through the system to allow us to capture this as part of the picture for infrastructure services going forward. I'm confident that for 17-18 we will balance that budget, so a wee bit of breathing space about where we want to be. For me, the challenge is 18-19 and 19-20, so they're not that far away, and I would want us to have worked up some projects and some ideas to allow us to say, look, proactively on the table, these are things that we can do to actually bring about some of those efficiencies and some of that change. There are a few ideas knocking around, and I'm not going to illustrate those now. That's for us to work those through, but anything that you can add to that list would be really helpful. Cracking service, I don't get out enough, and I do know that, so hence this video, to try and just get a little bit of communication with as many staff as I can. One of my New Year's resolutions will be to get out and about a bit more in 2017, subject to diaries. But what we do is really well respected. The numbers of complaints against service are very, very low, considering the volumes of what we do. So I appreciate all that you do. Many, many thanks. Feed in those ideas of how we can do things better and more efficient. And let's look forward to a good 2017. Thank you.